All right, here we are. It is the 9th of February, Tuesday the 9th of February, 2021. And we have picked a niche that we're going to work with. It's tuck pointing in the city of Sydney. So what the hell is tuck pointing is probably the next question that you're going to ask. And that makes sense. It is a bit of a niche industry or service, but basically tuck pointing is brick restoration work on, if you think of an old Federation home in like Leichhardt or Haberfield area, those nice old red bricks, often they'll sort of, wear and crack and age, and tuck pointing as a service helps repair, those bricks and the grout. So it's anything to do with that sort of product or service. So basically the reason we picked that is because it is a expensive service to have done. You're looking at many thousands of dollars just to have some tuck pointing done on your house, through to many tens of thousands of dollars if you're doing it on apartment buildings. So commercially, it would be valuable to rank for this keyword. And that is why there's a lot of people advertising on Google Ads. So you can see above the fold here, we have a full house. We have 4 Google Ads above the fold. If we scroll down to the bottom, there's more ads down here. There's big brands like High Pages trying to generate leads via Google Ads for this sort of a keyword. So it stands to reason that if you rank up the top here, the traffic's valuable because you're not paying for it and it's a high price point service. The other reason we've picked this niche is because the business that does rank first at the moment, Point Brick, is actually a client of ours. We rank this site as currently in first and second position for this keyword. You can read the case study on the work we did for these guys on our website. So if we're able to create a new site and push it up and rank, in the top 3 positions or so, we'll just funnel the leads from the site we create through to these guys. So no one loses out. So we're basically this time going to do this all from scratch. We're going to build a site from, blank canvas level all the way through to ranking up the top in Google and take you guys along for the ride. So the domain we're doing it on is tuckpointingsydney.com.au. Great domain. That's known as an exact match keyword domain. So the exact keyword we want to rank for is also essentially the brand name of the site, which is pretty cool. And this domain's a couple of years old now. We registered it back in 2017, but it's really just sat there since then. There's no site on it. There's no content. There's nothing on the domain. There never has been. We just registered the domain. If you jump over here to Ahrefs, I've run the domain through this tool, and you can see that there's no keywords ranking in Google. It gets no traffic from Google. It has no links pointing to it from other websites. So from a Google point of view, this site does not exist as of the 9th of February. So we're now going to go through our process, work all of our SEO nerdy magic on this site, take you guys along for the ride, and keep you updated as we go. And in the next update, we'll have a website for you to check out in the early stages of an SEO campaign built out. So should be pretty fun, and looking forward to the next update. So see you guys then. It is Saturday, the 13th of Feb. So we're only a few days into the campaign here, and I just wanted to show that we have loaded 7 keywords into our rank tracking tool here. And you can see that not one of them is ranking in Google at the moment. So no position, average position 100 means, we're deeper than page 10 of the Google search results for all of these keywords. If you go over to Google, this makes sense because if you search for how many pages are indexed from the domain, there are none at the moment. But we have actually made some good progress with the site build so far this week. So it's nearly finished and we will get this site indexed soon. So when we next check in, you'll see that Google will have started to find some of the pages and index them. I won't expect much by way of keyword rankings yet, but we are also building links at the moment, the initial sort of pillar and foundation links. Once that starts to have an impact, once Google starts to pick them up, combined with us launching the site and the content being found on the site, we'll start to see in this rank tracker the keywords starting to rank. So we'll be coming back to this screenshot a lot as we roll out the campaign. But yeah, just thought a little update would be good now. See you guys in the next update. All right, the big reveal time. Here is the Tuck Pointing Sydney website that we've built out over the last little bit of time since we last updated you. So let's have a look at what's going on here from an SEO point of view. This here is the H1 tag, Tuck Pointing Sydney. It's a brand and it's a keyword we want to rank for. Google will land on this site and it will see Tuck Pointing Sydney in the H1 tag. That's a ranking signal right there. Up the top here in the title tag, you can see that we've gone for tuck pointing and repointing services in Sydney, and then Tuck Pointing Sydney, the brand name. So again, Google's going to land on the site, see this title tag and see that, we're saying we're relevant for tuck pointing Sydney, the H1 tag saying we're relevant for tuck pointing Sydney, and already we're starting to hit it in the places that it will look when trying to decide how to rank this site. Above the fold here in the hero banner, we have a bit of copy. It's largely focused towards the end user, so it's not sort of SEO copy where we're talking gibberish. It is talking about, the benefits, breathing new life into your much loved brickwork, but we have worked in the keyword that we want to go after, because having the target keyword somewhere early on the page is also another ranking factor that we've found from optimizing other websites. As we move down the page, you can see here in the next heading tag. So this is the H1 tag. This is a H2 tag. We've worked in a variation of the keyword, and then here again, this is sort of user focused copy. So it sort of encourage them to get a quote and talking to them in a way that is going to be interesting, not so much for Google's benefit at this point. As we scroll down the page, you can see that we have these links to internal pages here. So we're going to build a page around each of these services because there is a bit of search volume out there around these topics. So we'll create a page with all the copy and on-site optimization, try and get these pages ranking too. Down here is just pretty generic businessy type stuff. Why choose us? Some vague or sort of not very interesting reasons why you would choose this business. But, we've just put it in here because it's a typical business site. No real Google benefit here. Here we have a very grim looking person giving us a testimonial. Probably will change this photo, but we've just used this stock photo at the moment. And, we're just putting in the testimonial. Again, it's all not real. It's all made up. I wrote this testimonial. I don't look like her. It's not for any purpose other than filling out this page. As we scroll down, now we're getting into the Google zone, the copy that's there for Google's benefit, not so much for the end user. An end user might be interested in reading this, but there is literally 1,000 words of content here about the ever exciting world of tuck pointing. I don't think many people will read it, but it's all here. But the thing that will read it is the Google crawler. So it's going to come here and see that we have pretty comprehensively addressed the topic of tuck pointing in general on our site that is all geared towards tuck pointing in Sydney. So here, these little questions have been influenced or sort of informed by the people also ask section of Google. So, these are the questions they ask. We have then gone and given a written response to each of these questions. Just helps us to more comprehensively address the topic of tuck pointing. And we're letting Google inform the subsections of our content. This can help with things like featured snippets in the future, but it also just helps with the content being relevant and giving Google what it needs to see. Then basically, end of the page, the sub footer and footer or boilerplate. This will be the same on every page. None of these links work, but they will soon. So that's basically the general gist of this site. It's got the sticky header with the logo and they get a free estimate call to action. And that's pretty much it. We haven't built out any other pages yet, but we will soon. But interestingly, Google has already found this site. Now that would be because we have a bit of link building going on as well at the moment, which we'll cover in another update. And Google's probably come through via a link, found the site and indexed the homepage, and then some of the gibberish internal pages that we haven't finished building out yet. So if I click this little down arrow here, well, just to explain, I've done a site search, so site tuckpointingsydney.com.au, which shows us all the pages in Google's index on this domain. And you can click this drop down here and it will show you what Google actually has cached in its index. Because if Google comes to your site, 5 days ago and hasn't been back since, the version in Google search results will be from 5 days ago, or the version that Google's sort of considering when deciding to rank you is from 5 days ago. So in our case, the cache version is from the 18th of February. Today is the 19th of February, so Google found this site yesterday. And yesterday it actually looked like this. It had this gibberish down the bottom here because we hadn't finished building out the site yet. So Google's come, there's gibberish, but it's indexed it. And if we go to our rank tracker here, you can see that these keywords have already jumped up, so yesterday when Google found the site, they were sort of down around 87, 85. Today they're a little bit higher. But we're talking page 7, 8, and 9, nothing to write home about. There won't be any traffic here. But it's interesting that Google thinks that the bones of this site are decent enough. Now that we've added all this copy at the end of the page and finished building out the homepage, we've asked Google to come back and index the site again. It is going to do that, so then its cached version will update to maybe today or tomorrow or whenever it does come back, and I would expect these keywords start to jump up. So look, that's just a quick update. You know, the site, the bones of it are there. We're going to build out the rest of it. We do have link building going on at the moment, but I'll cover that in another update. And yeah, look, it's all promising, and I look forward to seeing where things are at in the next update. All right, so today we're going to talk about content optimization, and I'm also going to walk you through the tech stack or the plugins that we're using on WordPress. And before we get into that, I just wanted to call out some rankings. So as it stands as of today, the 26th of February, our main keyword here, tuck pointing Sydney, is actually moved up onto page 3. You can see it's done a little bit of a Google dance, up, down, up, but it is all heading the right way. So, you know, this is the brand of the site, obviously, but it's a positive sign that this keyword's moved up and pretty much all the other keywords are somewhere in Google, at least. So as we continue to link build and optimize the content, these rankings are going to improve. So yeah, we'll talk about the tech stack for WordPress, or the plugin stack first, and then we'll move on to the content optimization. So I just wanted to walk you through some of the plugins and themes and things that we're using on this site. So first of all, Astra is basically the base theme that we have used on the site. We've gone with Astra just because it's a lightweight theme, pretty fast loading, and does quite a bit of stuff that we want it to do in terms of functionality out of the box. With Astra, we are actually using a sort of ready-made, theme or template for the site that we've modified to suit our tuck pointing brand. On top of the theme, we are setting Elementor. So Elementor is a page builder. We've got the pro version of it. Now, basically, Elementor allows you to quickly edit elements on a page. So things like, you know, fonts and styles and colors and images and backgrounds and transitions. It makes it really easy to drag and drop and edit pages. It gives sort of a non-coder a very visual and easy way to work with the site. The downside of that is it does add a bit of bloat to your code. You know, Elementor Pro sites will have a ton of extra code in there that the page builder sort of inserts. So from a Google point of view, you know, it's having to read all of this code bloat. People might say that sites won't rank or it can affect rankings. From our testing, you know, we have absolutely no problems ranking sites that are using Elementor. So it's not a problem, and you know, from our perspective, that it does add a bit of bloat to the code. Next thing we've installed here is Manage WP, which is, you know, it used to be its own sort of standalone tool. It's been bought by GoDaddy, but don't hold that against it. It actually is a pretty cool tool. So we use this for basically taking backups of the site and updating plugins, updating the theme, and just receiving notifications around the health of the site. You know, if anything happens with it, we know about it because of this Manage WP tool. Perf Matters is a performance plugin. It will strip out a lot of junk in WordPress that you don't need, so it will speed the site up and just make it load quicker, perform better. That's good for users, good for Google. So that's why we have that tool installed. In terms of SEO optimization, we are using SEO Press as a plugin. Other plugins that people use are Yoast. I also see other people using Rank Math. We like SEO Press, but basically it's really just a matter of picking one of those tools and making sure that the settings for it are right, and you'll get the same net effect. You know, these SEO tools don't actually improve the SEO of your site that much. They just make it easier to manage certain things like title tags, you know, your metadata, or robots files, or sometimes HT access and that sort of stuff through these plugins. So in and of themselves, you know, they are not going to make a dramatic improvement to the SEO of your site. Short Pixel. So this is basically a tool that we use to compress images. So when we're uploading images to the site, rather than having to focus too much on file size and compressing before we upload it, this tool takes care of it when you upload it. So obviously, like, a good practice to be in is trying to upload images that have as small a file size as possible to begin with. But, you know, if you have Short Pixel running in the background, it's going to compress it further without losing quality of the image. And that way you're getting that file size as small as possible. It makes your site load quicker. Better for Google, better for the end user. Site Kit we have installed as well. This is basically just a Google tool that allows us to integrate the site with Search Console and Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, all very easily via a Google supported tool. So Google actually created this one. And then probably the last one I want to cover off here is just WordFence, a security plugin. This is just every WordPress site needs to have a security plugin of some sort. With WordPress being an open source platform, that's great from a development and a community point of view, and having all these sort of awesome plugins, but it's also bad from a security point of view because nefarious actors can basically look for flaws or holes or bugs in the source code of WordPress itself or the plugins, and they can exploit them. So that's why you'll find a lot of business websites get hacked. It's because they haven't kept their plugins up to date. They haven't kept their WordPress up to date. They haven't had much of a focus on security. So using a plugin like WordFence or Securi, just to provide a layer of security in terms of login paths or the usernames and passwords that people are using, or setting up a firewall so it can detect dodgy IP addresses trying to brute force access your site and blocking that sort of stuff. Having that layer of protection there is super important. So this is just a real basic stack, as I'm calling it, that we have installed to get the functionality that we need out of WordPress for now. Now, all of this is sitting on a VPS server that we have hosted here in Sydney, so the site should load pretty quickly for people out of the box. But in subsequent episodes here or updates, if we find that speed is an issue, then we will do further work to improve the speed of the site. But for now, all of this setup hosted on a fast VPS here in Sydney is the stack that we've gone with. All right, so let's jump over to copy. So from the last update, you'd know that we added this homepage content here. And now we want to fine tune it. We want to give Google what it is expecting to see, or we want to sort of take hints from what's already ranking in Google and make sure that our copy is addressing it well. Because if we look at the sites that are already ranking well, they're obviously doing something right because Google's rewarding them with those top rankings. If we can look for the commonalities between all of those sites, then make sure we address the same things, the same commonalities, then our site should move up the rankings as well. And there's all sorts of different ways you can do that, from manual auditing of competitors to using tools like Surfer, SEO, Page Optimizer Pro, Cora. We also have internal tools that we have built ourselves at Local Digital to sort of help with this aspect. But what I'm going to start with here is using the tool Page Optimizer Pro. And I have basically run through an audit of this homepage. So the tool has had a look at this homepage, it's had a look at all the copy, and then I have also had it look at some of the competition. So if we look here, I fed in the other sites that were ranking on the first page of Google for the search term tuck pointing Sydney. So what this tool has done is it had a look at all of these competitors, it's had a look at our site, and it's basically giving us some feedback on what we have in common with them, but then maybe what they have in common that we don't have. And it's basically giving us, I guess, an average or what Google would need to see or expect to see based on what's already ranking in Google. So to explain that, here in the page title tag, you can see that based on its analysis of all of the sites that currently rank in Google, it is recommending we use the keyword tuck pointing Sydney once, tuck pointing once, Sydney once, tuck space pointing once, and then repointing once. And over here you can see that we have pretty much already addressed all of that. The only thing is we don't have this tuck space pointing variation in our title tag. So what is the action out of this? We would go and add the tuck space pointing keyword into our title tag here. So at the moment, the title tag is tuck pointing and repointing services in Sydney, pipe or hyphen tuck pointing Sydney. What we'd probably change this to is just change that first word to tuck space pointing and repointing services in Sydney, and then tuck pointing one word Sydney. So that way we've really addressed all of these important terms in the title tag. Then basically it's just a matter of looking through the rest of the recommendations here. So in the subheadings section, this is basically not the H1 tag on the page, but all the different headings throughout the page. So to show you what that looks like, this is the H1 tag, then this is the H2, and then we sort of have other headings as we move down the page. It is recommending that we at the moment we've worked tuck pointing in 4 times, but a relevant range is 2 to 3. So we're maybe slightly over optimized for that term here. Likewise, we haven't used brickwork repointing. We haven't used the word services, whereas on average competitors have. So we might look to go back and just work those types of keywords into these extra heading tags on the page here. Then we get into the body content. And this is where things get interesting. Just so we're tuck pointing here, we're over-optimized according to this tool. We've used it 30 times compared to 10 to 16 times. And this can actually be quite massive. If you can scale back over-optimization and get it more in what this tool or and other tools that analyze this stuff consider to be the target range or what's average, it can lead directly to improved rankings because Google does pick up on over-optimized signals. So, we've used mortar way too much according to this tool. In other cases, we haven't used the word repairs at all on the page, whereas competitors on average 3 to 4 times on a page. Brickwork repointing, that's one keyword that's relevant for the theme of tuck pointing, but it's not even in our page copy. So what I'm going to do is basically go through this copy and just fine-tune it now and make it more, I guess, in line with these target ranges. So you can see that we've got about 1,488 words on our page at the moment. And this tool is recommending about 1,300 based on analyzing all of the other pages. So, we're in the right ballpark. It's just now going to be a matter of massaging this copy to be more in line with this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I won't do it on recording because it would be bloody boring to sit there and watch me doing that, but I'll do it, and then I will get Google to come back and crawl the site via Search Console, and then we will come back and monitor what difference that makes to the ranking. So it'll probably be in a couple of days' time once we've gone ahead and made the updates to this page, and we'll show you what impact it had in the next update. So see you guys then. All right, it is a couple of hours later, and I have made the changes. So you can see earlier our score, according to this tool, was about 82. Now it is 100. So if we jump over here, we can see that I've effectively gone through and made most of the changes that the tool has been recommending. You'll probably notice it most in a keyword like tuck pointing. Before we were up north of 30. I've brought it back in line with the target range. Mortar we had a lot of. I brought it back in line with the target range there, and a bunch of these other sort of supporting keywords here I've worked into the copy. So look, this is just one tool that we use in our arsenal. It doesn't always work, but we're going to start with this one, get it into the site. I've got Google coming back to crawl the site, so I've submitted it via Search Console to bring it back to the site. Once it crawls it and indexes it again, we'll check the rankings and we'll do another update. Hopefully we'll see that they've improved even further than the results I showed you earlier. All right, see you next time. All right, we have hit the first page. So it's a quick update here on the 27th of February. You can see that for our target keyword, we are now in 10th spot. So that's the very bottom of page 1. And it's jumped up quite nicely. Yesterday it was at 27th. So we've gone from page 3 to page 1. You can see big jumps in pretty much all of the keywords that we're targeting for the site. So this is a great sign, obviously. It really from here is a matter of link building. So we need to boost the authority of the domain. Google's sort of telling us it likes what it sees there. If we can boost the authority with links, we're going to push up into these top spots pretty easily from here, I would say. So just to show you what that looks like, I've done a search here. Let me just refresh. Actually, I'll go right from scratch so you can see I'm in incognito in Chrome, so it's a totally sort of fresh search. And if I type in tuck pointing Sydney, search, there's the Google Ads, there's the Google Maps, here's the organic results, and you can see here we are sitting pretty in 10th spot. So just a quick update, very promising early signs, and I would say, in the next couple of weeks with the links that we're building at the moment, we're really going to push up into the top spots. There will be a bit of bouncing around, but the fact we've gotten here this quickly is a really encouraging sign, and yeah, look forward to the next update. All right, it is the 8th of March, and we're in first position. So we have ranked at the top of Google for our target keyword, which is tuck pointing Sydney. So it only took a month, which is actually quite a bit quicker than I was expecting it to, which is good. And I thought, in celebration of hitting first spot, let's talk about the final thing to talk about, which is link building. We've covered off a good technical setup and we've covered off content optimization. but we haven't spoken about link building so far. So, links have played their part in pushing this keyword up into the top spot. So I want to cover it off. So if we jump over here to Ahrefs, again, I've crawled tuckpointingsydney.com.au, and you can see that according to this tool, it's picking up 37 links, linking back to the website. So obviously, when we started the build a month ago, at the same time we started link building. Those links have gone live, and now Ahrefs has picked them up. To show you what our anchor text mix looks like at the moment, you can see here that it's basically all just this what I call URL-based anchor text. So the 4 different versions that you can use for a URL, we essentially have links coming back using those as the anchor text. So when I say the anchor text, just this here is a link, and the word recent is the anchor text. So the anchor text is the bit you click on. And this is an important thing in link building because Google will read the anchor text and it's a ranking signal. So if you have keywords in the anchor text pointing back to your site, Google will see those keywords and it will reward you with higher rankings for those keywords. But if you go overboard, if you have too much of that, if you're over optimized, Google can very easily see it, and rather than helping you, it will hurt you. But what we've done very deliberately here is use URL-based anchor text terms. Now, the reason we've done this is because, with a new website, you don't want to go hell for leather building optimized anchor text links. You want to build what we call foundational or pillow links initially, and then over time you can start to build, exact match, or the keywords that you want to rank for as your anchor text terms. So we've been able to push up into the top spot for our keyword with nothing more than, URL-based anchor text terms. So this is the foundational link building. We were about to start building exact match, not exact match, but more authority-based links, but we haven't had to because we've pushed up in the top spot. Now, look, this can probably bounce around. We've jumped from page 2 to page 1, or the top of page 1 here, first spot. It might bounce up and down, but when we started this, the goal was to push up into position 1 for this keyword, and we have done it as of the 3rd. So I want to call out some of the types of links that we have built just to get to this point. Now, what I'm about to show you is not a normal link building strategy. This is just the very start of a link building strategy. It's one aspect of it. So would I recommend this? I would recommend it for all businesses, but I wouldn't expect you to get awesome rankings with it if you're in a competitive niche. But anyway, the types of links that we've built are basically profile links on big web platforms. So here we are on good old MySpace. They do still exist. They allow you to set up profiles like we have here. Over here on the right, you can click through to our site, and you can see that the anchor text for this link is tuckpointingsydney.com.au. So Tuckpointing Sydney, one of the 10 links that we have would be this MySpace link. Over here, flickr.com, another really big web-based profile that you can sign up to. You can see here, again, tuckpointingsydney.com.au as the link. Blogger.com, there's a link here. My webpage points through to our site. Obviously, Ahrefs hasn't picked this one up yet because there's no my webpage in the anchor text, but this is another one we've created. And so on and so forth, about.me, Twitch, WordPress.com, Quora, and then the last one here is BuzzFeed. Now, we've actually built way more than the ones I've shown you, but obviously you don't want to watch me click through profile sites all night long. But the general gist is that, these are the types of links that any business owner can build and that any website can get. And it's totally normal for a website to have links from these types of sites. So really, when you are starting a link building campaign, you want to make sure that you have all of these in place. Now, normally on most SEO campaigns, just building these, it doesn't move the needle. It's just, as I said, the foundation that you have in place that then allows you to go out and build more links. But in our case, we've been able to push our site up into top spot just with these links and with some really good content optimization and a really strong technical foundation. Now, why has that been the case in this instance? Well, really the tuck pointing niche, the competition is not that sophisticated, to be quite honest. And the domain name we have is an exact match domain name. So our brand is also the keyword we want to rank for. So it's been easier to rank this than if I was trying to rank, a credit card comparison site, obviously. But, it's just been an interesting little case study. I hope to show how you can rank a website relatively easy by focusing on those 3 main pillars and getting them all right. And, yeah, look, we play this same scenario out time and time again across a range of different keywords, a range of different clients. I actually forgot. Let's actually go to Google and have a look at this and see the ranking in the flesh. We've worked so hard over the last month for this. Tuck Pointing Sydney, I've searched for Google, scroll down, and here we are sitting pretty in that top spot. So we couldn't end the videos without showing this off. So yeah, if you click through on this one, it's going to take you through to our beautiful looking site here. And I didn't get around to getting rid of Anna Patrici here and her very grim delivery of this testimonial. But look, we'll keep an eye on this. We'll see how the rankings go in the coming days. Maybe we'll come back and revisit this in an update. But for now, we have ranked a site. We've taken it from nowhere to number 1 in Google. And if you're interested in having a chat about how this might be possible for your business, you know where to find us. So look forward to hearing from you. And yeah, happy SEOing. See ya.